Thank you so much for this interview. Congratulations. Law and Order's got another city. It's Toronto. Both of you are major stars on this. Karen, I'm going to go to you first. How does it feel to be in this series? But also, how does it feel to be in the character that you have? Because if you notice, I'm wearing one of these old boy hats. I wore this because I was a fan of Beretta, and I was a fan of that style of gritty, cop shows. Anytime there was the boss, it was usually an old guy who was rough and yelling and whatever else. It looked like he had no life. We have a queen who is a boss, but knows exactly what she's talking about and what she wants.
Thank you for that, first of all, because I thought you were going to stop after, old guy, but but you didn't. Thank you. Listen, this is the best feeling. As actors, usually we're just so happy to be able to, pay our bills and our taxes. But with this one, it is such a well-loved franchise. Like people and generations upon generations of families know about this show, right? And so I feel like we are just like another step in the legacy of this show. I I feel incredibly fortunate to be a part of it.
KC, same thing with you, my friend, because yes, and we're going to talk about your characters in a second, though, but you know that your character has to have gumph. He has to have it. When people get a chance to see, even in the first episode, you even came out with the walk, like, and you know what I'm
Right?
talking about. How does it feel for you also, not just to be in part of this franchise, but knowing you're putting a character together that has strength, mind, body, and everything else? And again, zoom in position of what that character wants and wants to see done.
Oh wow, that was I don't even think I need to give an answer based
Exactly.
on everything that you said. That was incredible. But sort of crafting Theo Forster was fun. And I knew there was elements that I wanted to bring to it that sort of listen, back in the day, they used to call me Strut, right? And so I knew there was a walk that needed to be there for this guy. And also, being from Toronto, there's just if I can let a little bit of myself bleed into the character, which I think as actors we always sort of do. We sort of leave our mark, and I figured that would be fun, and that would be good for the show, being it Law and Order Toronto,
Hmm.
right? So
Hmm.
you get a lot of people that are just like they see something and they're
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, that's us, right? So I love that about bringing those elements to this character, and also just loving the character. I know we're gonna get there, and I don't want to go too far, but just loving the character the way it was brought to me, right? By the showrunner Tassie Cameron, and just utilizing what she already gave me was great. So anyway, um, I won't go too much into it until we get there.
It's
Okay,
been
but
fun. It's been fun.
but but Casey, just so you know, you brought the strut from when I was young and grew and learned that walk. So blessings to you, my brother, for bringing that back right on the big screen. Karen, I want to talk back at your character again. I sort of gave an introduction for what I saw. Describe your character and how important she is to this new series.
Um, Inspector Vivian Holness, if you think about it, she started in law enforcement sometime in like what late 80s, early 90s. She was walking the beat, and I imagine that it took um incredible fortitude and smarts, intelligence, and a backbone of steel in order to get herself to the place she is now. And she brings all of that to the job that she has. It's a lot of responsibility, and she knows that she is wearing a crown that was polished for her by the ancestors, and that she then has to pass on to the people coming behind her. So she is not going to squander this opportunity. She works hard. She makes sure that the people under her work in order to for the best outcome for everyone. She's not always right, but her feet are usually comfortable. And and so she can pivot. When she's not right, she can pivot. Whip smart detectives in Bateman and Graff, and and with help from Forrester and the rest of the team, I think that we have a pretty good chance for at seeing through whatever is in front of us.
I just feel like she wants to hold back from slapping somebody in the back of their heads
Why'd you
whenever
have
they're
to go
not.
there? Why'd you have
Because because I can see it, because she is such a mother figure too.
I was focusing on the positive.
You can see it, we can feel it.
Absolutely.
I want them to feel it. I want them to anticipate it.
Yes.
But I'm not gonna do it. I
Nah.
just want to kind of spur them along.
I never said you were going to do it, but I always feel like when she says something, you want to expect that slap in the head or the spoon, because like I said, she's such a strong mother figure at the same time and being the queen and boss too. Sir, I got to go over to you. Please explain your character, please, and how he's so important to this franchise.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing: when you're dealing with law enforcement, it's not just about the capture, right? It's about the prosecution, and so things need to be there has to be a point where you realize that especially with these two detectives, my goal is to make sure that they have the strongest case so that we don't squander opportunities.
Oh,
right?
word.
So that's what Theo Forster is about. They bring the information. I'm sort of a soundboard.
Mm-hmm.
And then I tell you really what you need to know.
Yeah.
Right? That's what the character's about. Like, okay, that's good, but if you're good is not good enough.
Yeah.
We need great. So here's where we need to go.
Yeah.
Here's what needs to happen.
Yeah.
Take
It's like
it.
being a really good director.
There you go.
Yeah, I see what you're doing over there, and that's good. Now do better.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely.
This question goes to the both of you. Does this show now a different side to Toronto, and not just a different side to Toronto, but a different side to police dramas? And when I say that, because we're so used to the cop on the street in the police car driving around, now we get to see literally everybody is a detective. Everybody's trying to figure out this mystery, and we need to solve this by the end. And it's not being done in LA. It's not being done in Chicago. We finally get it being done in Toronto. So does it show Toronto in a different light, good or bad, in whatever the case is being dealt with?
I think it shows Toronto as itself, good and bad.
I like that you did say good or bad.
Yeah,
Yeah,
good and bad. I think that makes us interesting. That's who we always were, and we've subbed in so often for other cities that I just think that it's great that we're finally showing our true selves.
And you'll be introduced to Canadian law, right? As
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Which
It's
is
different from
different.
American.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to ask. Actually, sir, are we ever going to see you in like the traditional in court, what we see in Canada that they don't see in the US?
Well, at the moment right now, I don't know how much I can say, but at the moment right now, because it is criminal intent, right now for this season, the courtroom doesn't exist right now. Yeah. I mean, what will happen in the future? I have no idea. But as of right now, where we've, I don't know, maybe you want to use the word escaped I don't know.
The
I don't
courtroom is off. It's off screen.
Yeah, it's off screen. Because here's the thing too, right? I mean, I don't know if this was intentional or not, but I think, with regards to all of that, that would be a big shock, I think, to the system of the Americans or whoever else might be watching, right? So I think I like this way of sort of easing into that potential, that possibility. You know, I know obviously UK has their own version of this and they have to go all out, I believe, right? So yeah, but right now this is where it stands that we don't have, and I'm gonna do that again because I liked how you did it.
I tell you what, though, you do see him in some fine suits. Mm.
Yeah, and I know we have to wrap this up, but that's one of the things we're gonna have to find out later. We'll talk about it in season 2, but we need to find out where you get your clothes done, folks.
Ah.
Congratulations! Thank you so much for this interview. And well, I already saw episode 1, so I'm looking forward to seeing episode
Well,
2.
here, listen, you can
Congratulations!
play episode 1 again. You can watch it again.
That's
on-
right.
right?
Yes, we can,
The car
and we
radio.
can do that on Thursdays. Thank you again, folks, and have a great day.
Thanks.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye.
Congratulations. Law and Order finally gets the right city to do it. And that is Toronto. And from the cast that I've already had a chance to speak with to who I'm speaking with now, I think you guys are perfect for this. Congratulations on helping to bring this franchise and bring it to life here in Toronto. It's Kathleen, right? I just want to make sure. Kathleen, I want to ask you, how does it feel bringing this up to Toronto, being part of this and having it here being done in Toronto?
No, I mean, it's a thrill. It's like it's a combination of two things that I've loved and had a connection to my entire life, Law and Order and the city of Toronto. I grew up watching the show and have been a long time fan. And so the idea of bringing it home to, you know, a city that has been so close to my heart for so long, it just really feels like I'm pinching myself all the time. And I think it's exciting because we get to see all the all the stuff of Law and Order that everyone's going to want to tune in and find here, but we're doing it in our own way. So it really does feel distinctive, and also it's going to give that kind of familiar iconography that everyone wants to see.
Kathleen, I want to stick with you with this next question. Because you said you grew up watching it, did that put pressure on you, and knowing you were part of this and knowing how, you know, how they go right to, like, the stories are always amazing and the character actors are amazing too. Did you feel a little bit of pressure in going, I got to follow this?
Yeah, I mean it's this it's iconic. It's an iconic franchise. So there's some feelings about stepping into this, wanting to do it justice, and also wanting to bring something new to it, and to make sure that it's really anchored in something that feels authentic and feels like it's sort of our own. So yeah, huge for sure. It's intimidating. And I think having the benefit of just really spectacular writers and really spectacular cast, knowing that I can come in and kind of do my best, and that I'm you know, really just locking into to the pieces that are already in place. It's definitely something that when I saw it was happening, I immediately wanted to find a way here. So it was both very intentional for me and also totally intimidating. Yeah.
Aiden, I got to tell you something, man. Your character, I haven't seen that played like that in years. You actually reminded me of a Columbo updated, because your character is so off, but is so brilliant at everything that he does. Can you talk about that? Because no matter what the littlest thing is, your character figures it out. But when he's talking to people, you literally put those folks off, like what? Like they have to double take to what he's talking about.
Yeah, he likes to dance with people's minds. You know, there's no doubt about it. When I first read the script, you know, I was amazed by the storyline, and I thought, you know, this is a fresh approach to Law and Order. There's no doubt about that. But when you know, the next couple of nights going to bed, I was haunted by the character. I thought, you know, there's so much there, and that's just episode 1. We're going to run this guy through 10 episodes of, you know, the way he approaches each different crime, each different scenario is going to need you know, a new avenue of approach. I'm sure that they're going to take that into account, and they did, you know, and So we'd be halfway through shooting one episode and I'd be thinking, oh, that's the way he works. And then I'd read the next episode and go, oh, he works that way too. And so the more we began to play with it, the more, we would look at it from the point of view of, it's almost like Bateman would go into a room and keep their attention while I frisked them, without them knowing, going through their pockets and figuring out who they were. And that's how they work together, those two. So it was a great character to bring to life, to get up on its feet. And it's just a joy when you have that, level of writing behind it.
The biggest character really is the city of Toronto, where you guys are filming in places that I know very well. And I don't want to give too much away because I want people to watch this. But I know some of the areas you filmed. I'm like, how did you guys actually get to film these areas and nobody coming in or interfering? Because people don't realize some of the areas you guys are in, there's some rough areas for real. What was it like filming like that in the city?
Well, we carried rubber guns, and so occasionally we just pull them out and point them at people, shut up. No, I'm kidding. No, it was great. I mean, we had the support of the police service here and we were always secure, but we were always, we weren't untouchable. You were shooting in the middle of the, right in front of City Hall, and there were people in the scene who were just, visiting Toronto, and when they heard that Law and Order was there, they were quite happy to be in the shot, but turn away when the cameras rolled or whatever. And it was great. We felt so invited and welcomed into the city, and it pleased me knowing that we might well be here for the next 347 years doing this. But yeah, we had a ball. We had a ball. We felt we were part of the city, and since we've been here on this tour, doing the press, it feels like people have really, they're so excited to see the show. They're so excited to see these investigations play out in their backyard and to showcase one of the most beautiful and mature, crazy, complex cities in the world.
Definitely. Look, I know we're going to have to wrap this up, but this question goes for the both of you. What do you hope fans are going to get from this new series and new season?
True.
What do I hope fans are going to get? I mean, I hope they're really going to find a show that they can that they can stick with. Like, I think this is a world that people are going to want to be revisiting week after week. I think the stories and the investigations are complex and unexpected, and then there's also this element of familiarity to some of the headlines, and so I think it's going to really give a I think it's going to pull people in. I really hope that people who watch this feel connected to it. And I don't think that's just people in Toronto either. I mean, I think that because it feels so, so authentically connected to a city, and you see people who feel really honest in their relationships, I hope it kind of has a broader appeal to for people who may not be as familiar with some of the landmarks as we are.
And I think that, even though this is a sort of legacy franchise that we're bringing a new city, new approach. I think that we're going to be huge in Norway. I think we had such a ball making it. There were so many good writers. There were so many good actors. We were the ones flubbing the lines more than anyone else because, the workload was so intense, but some of these actors would just come in and they would blow you away. And it was just, you felt proud to be going to work every day. It was a one in a lifetime experience that we'll probably have to do 364 times, but
347.
yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well,
Yep, definitely. Definitely. I love the way you guys represent the melting pot too. Thank you so much for this interview. Congratulations on this great series. Can't wait to talk to you guys again in season 2, because I know it's happening. So congrats again and cannot wait.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Yeah.